Camilla from Nigeria spent years as a forced prostitute in Italy. A year ago, she was discovered by the police and deported. She prefers to remain anonymous during filming. Benin City is a hub of prostitution and human trafficking. Local women are drawn into the traffickers' web with promises of a better life in Europe, only to find themselves forced into prostitution. Back in Nigeria, Camilla wants to start a new life, but her feelings of shame are such that she has yet to visit her family. Will she find the strength to meet them? Camilla still has a list documenting her harrowing experience. It's a record of her earnings from working the streets in Florence, Italy. She had to record every single euro, which she then had to surrender to her pimp or madam, who was also from Nigeria. Back home, she's found support and refuge at a women's shelter run by Catholic nuns. She spent most of her time in Italy, imprisoned in a tiny room with no chance of escape.
She collected my phone. I was without phone. I could not call my parents. She maltreated me, beat me up, called me all sort of name. That after helping me now, I don't want to pay her back her money.
Eventually, Camilla was picked up by the Italian police and repatriated to Benin City. She says she still feels too weak to cope on her own, and she's afraid of being seen as a failure since she returned from Europe penniless. She's not sure how she'll manage. 3 months later. A few days ago, Camilla rented a small apartment in Benin City. The nuns from the women's shelter helped her furnish it.
I never think that we'll have this kind of place.
Why is that?
Because of the way I came. I came empty-handedly. I didn't come with anything, so I was frustrated. I never believed that I'm going to have somewhere, a place like this to stay. So I'm very happy that today at least I can eat what I want. I sleep, I wake up, I'm okay. I don't have anybody disturbing me. I'm just okay. I'm just so fine, I'm okay.
Meanwhile, Camilla has established contact with some old friends via social media. Loneliness has been one of the most distressing challenges to deal with, but she still dreads the prospect of reuniting with her family. Since setting off for Italy more than 8 years ago, contact with her family has been limited to just a few phone calls. She told no one in her family of the terrible things that happened to her in Europe, and her home village is just a half-an-hour drive away.
No, for now I won't, because I don't want to. I don't just want, by the time I start thinking or talking about it, I'm going to remember some certain things that I don't even want to remember. So I don't just want to talk about the past with them for now.
The lack of jobs and bleak prospects for the future affect many young people in Nigeria. Camilla, too, dreamt of a better life abroad. That is exactly what the sex traffickers promise: a well-paid job in well-off Europe. They then smuggle the young women across borders with fake papers, often disguising them as refugees. Experts say there are several thousand such cases every year in Benin City alone. The next day, Camilla is making a rare venture out in public. That means putting on a wig. She feels more comfortable when she doesn't think she'll be recognized. She's off to a school to tell her story, and she hopes to prevent more young girls falling prey to sex trafficking gangs.
There are so many of them that can do even worse than what my mother has done to me to other girls.
Camilla knows that very few human traffickers are ever prosecuted, not in Europe and not in Nigeria. That's why educational efforts are so important. Camilla was invited by the nuns from the Women's Refuge to give talks to schoolgirls. Today they're in a suburb of Benin City. More than half the girls in this region know of incidents involving human trafficking from their own families.
I feel like if I'm in the shoes of those people, how would they feel that they are trapped there and they can't even come to their country to say their experience or teach the people to stay away from all this kind of stuff.
Some of them, it's not their fault, but their parents just send them there in desperate of making money.
I'm really happy for her to stand out and come to this school today to tell us more for us not to fall into that trap also.
Camilla and the nuns are a well-practiced team. First, a nun tells them about human traffickers and their tricks and false promises. And she tells them that much of what they've been told about life in Europe is misleading.
I promise you I'm going to take you over across the... Have you ever heard Europe before? Yes! Italy? Yes! I'm sure many brothers and sisters are there. Yes! You see?
The assembled girls then get a first-hand example of the dangers that potentially await them, courtesy of Camilla.
Good morning, everyone.
The story she tells is not sanitized. It's one of beatings and brutal exploitation.
More than 20 men live with us every night. So please don't be deceived and don't allow anybody to deceive you and take you to Italy.
She tells us how hard it was to begin talking to schoolgirls about her experiences. The first times were especially difficult.
Things like that, I was like shaking, things like that. But as time goes on, when I continue talking to them, I was like finding courage to speak on and all that.
Sister Bibiana has more than 10 years' experience working with victims of forced prostitution. She's grateful for women like Camilla, who has overcome her own fears to help other young women avoid a similar fate.
I really admire her courage, her boldness, her charity. I call it charity, but she doesn't want anybody to go through. So that I think I admire her.
A Juju temple in Benin City. Many sex traffickers send their victims to such temples before their departure to see priests supposedly endowed with magical powers. Insiders report that some Juju priests make the young women swear an oath of unconditional obedience. This priest refuses to confirm the allegations while on camera, although he does issue a warning about taking vows seriously. The gods, he says, seek revenge on those who break their oaths.
Once they deny it, the person will die. They die within 7 days. By thunder.
Yeah.
Camilla refuses to be intimidated anymore. Right now, she's preoccupied with a different matter. She came across her own sister in a women's shelter. She too was exploited by human traffickers recently. She was held captive for several months in neighboring Ghana before managing to escape. Camilla now blames herself for not having warned her sister earlier. She also knows that she can no longer put off meeting with her family. A few days later, Camilla goes back to her home village. It's a nerve-wracking drive. What will her mother say after such a long absence? Will her family be disappointed to see her returning without any money saved up from Europe? But her worries prove unfounded.
I'm happy to see my daughter with you, and she looks very nice. I'm very happy, but I never know what is going on.
Rice with egg and chili sauce, the meal that Camilla enjoyed as a child. She decides not to tell her family for now about her experiences in Europe. For now, she's just happy that her mother isn't asking questions. Her mother had warned her about leaving.
Even before I traveled, she warned me not to do such thing. And I went there, although it wasn't my fault, I found myself in such a situation. So if I should tell her, I don't think she will be able to take it lightly. And she will not be happy over it. So I don't think I will tell her. I don't just want to tell her. I just want to keep it secret.
The family prays to give thanks for her return. Camilla believes her mother may suspect what really happened. 80% of forced prostitutes in Nigeria come from the Benin City area. Even people in remote regions have heard the rumors. Perhaps one day, Camilla will manage to talk to her mother about what really happened during her stay in Europe.